Most of you know that I own my own business with a friend of mine. We've been in business since 1988, and we provide educational training for healthcare professionals all across the United States, and absolutely love doing it. A few years back, there was a large company out of Canada that wanted to sit down and talk with us for a possible business arrangement. And they lived in Boston. So they invited us up for the weekend, and basically they were going to wine and dine us to convince us to go into business with them so that they could benefit from the arrangement as we could also. So we were certainly trying to impress, as were they. They gave us a kayak, and we got to go down the river and kayaked all day. And then we pulled up to the back of their house, and they had prepared lobster for us. And so we came to the door of the house, and they welcomed us in, and they explained to us that they had a pet bird. And I really can't remember what kind it was. It was not a canary, and it was not a cockatoo, but it was something in between. And they basically let it have the run of the house. So they were busy preparing the meal, and my friend and I sat in the living room. I was on a couch, and she was over on a chair. And the bird, of course, was flying around here or there, and it was a sweet little thing. And most of you who know me know that I'm a definite animal lover. So basically, the bird finally decides that it kind of likes me. So it comes and it flies over, and it sits right up on my shoulder. Now, I'm not used to having birds on near my face, and certainly not on my shoulder, and had never had a pet bird. So I really wasn't certain that I liked it or that I knew what the protocol should be. So I'm sitting there, and I'm looking over here at the bird, and I'm watching it, and it's just sitting there. And I'm asking my friend, I said, "What's it doing?" Because I can't see. And she said, "Well, it's just sitting there." So I asked her, I said, "What do you think I should do? Do you think I ought to try to get it off my shoulder, or just let it stay there?" I really don't know. And don't want to offend the people or hurt the bird, so I don't know what to do. So as I'm sitting there, the bird decides that it wants to get on the top of my head. And basically what it did is it would put its beak on some of my hair, and then pull itself up to where that its little feet could grab my hair, and it would rest there a minute. Then it would take its beak and move on up and take another bite of my hair and pull itself up, and it basically worked its way up right to the top of my head. And I'm sitting there the whole time going, "What's it doing? What's it doing?" And I'm thinking, and I'm saying, "What do I do? What do I do? This bird is crawling up my head, and I don't know what to do." What I wanted to do was get it out of my hair, because all I could see is it sitting up at the top of my head and getting so comfortable that it relieves itself right at the top of my head. So I'm getting a little bit more anxious, and here I am in these people's living room that I do not know, that I'm trying to impress, and they're trying to impress us. And there's a bird sitting on the top of my head. Now, I have to tell you, I felt really, really foolish at that point in time, because here I am just sitting like there's nothing going on. And there's a bird at the top of my head that I don't know. So I just sit there and I wait. And because I'm thinking, well, surely they'll come in a few minutes, and they'll see that the bird's on top of my head, and they'll get the bird. So I wait a few more minutes, and sure enough, they eventually come in, and they're cracking up laughing. They called it by its name. They said, "Oh, she loves to do that." And I'm thinking, okay, well, I didn't know that, and maybe you could have prepared for me to know that, because there's a bird at the top of my head. We laughed and laughed about that event. But I have to tell you, after it was over, I really questioned, why did you do that, Kat? Why did you let your unease and your willingness to please someone cause you to do something that made you feel extremely uncomfortable, and, to be honest with myself, a little bit apprehensive? Why did you do that? And basically, because I was raised to not to be offensive, not to be unkind, and basically with a need for people to like me. That's just a common human characteristic. But After I looked at the event, I thought to myself, there's no way in the whole wide world that you would do that now. You would call someone's attention to it, and you wouldn't want to please someone to that extent that you would let a strange bird land on your shoulder, bite its way on your hair up to the middle of your head, and sit there as if your hair is a nest. Why do we do that? Why do we think that we have to change who we are to please someone else? See, here's the way I look at it. I only occupy just a small amount of space in this entire universe. And if you don't like that little space that I occupy, there's so much other space that you can either go to, or you can look at, or you can enjoy other than my little space. See, I'm confident enough that I think that you'll like me for who I am and not for what I do to make you like me. See, you need to love yourself. You need to like who you are. And we need to all work on that. Because, see, if you're honest and true to yourself, then people are going to be honest and true with you because they know and get a great picture of who you are. Won't you join me just for this week?